A cyber scam is growing in the U.S. It's called pig butchering and involves gaining a victim's trust over time before taking everything they have. Think of a pig being raised on a farm only to be slaughtered.
In one extreme and tragic case, a grandfather took his own life after losing his life savings. Joining us to discuss is cybersecurity expert and president of brokerage at Flow Insurance, David Jodas. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
So this is just brutal. It kind of sounds like a cross between your run-of-the-mill financial scam and catfishing. It seems so personal and devastating.
It is. It's probably one of the more despicable scams that are out there. Not only does it drain people financially, but it does it emotionally as well. That connection is made for people looking for love, looking for friendship, and then ultimately it ends in a crypto scam where false promises are made of incredible returns, and they're just not there.
Yeah, and whether it's professional relationships or romantic or friendship, like you said, they get that person's trust. What are they ultimately wanting to do?
It's always financially motivated. They're looking to make that connections. If you can build trust with somebody right out of the gate, they're probably more likely to be able to give money, give information, whatever the scammer is looking for. In these cases, it's typically false investments that are being made in crypto-related fake investments. That's what they do. They drive you to some type of site, and the site isn't a legitimate business. It's not a legitimate investment or an exchange. And what happens is they take a little bit, followed by a little bit more, then the big one comes.
You know, it seems like the obvious advice would be not to give anyone money over the internet that you haven't met. But what is there outside of don't trust anybody ever? Like, how do you give people advice over this?
It's so tough because you have people that are looking for connections. You have people that are looking for love. They're lonely, and that's exactly what they're preying on.
Yeah.
There are some red flags that are important to look for. You know, typically it could be maybe a text that comes out of the blue where they initiate some type of conversation with people. I can't tell you how many times I get fake email messages and I get fake, WhatsApp requests that come in. They're always scam related. But if they're not willing to go on camera, if they're not willing to have a conversation where you can actually see them, that's another big red flag. And ultimately, if they're ever asking for something, that should draw the line for you right there. Don't fall for it.
Yeah.
So how do you tell the difference from being pretty much paranoid about doing business with anyone ever and knowing when it's one of these scammers working?
Yeah, Terrence, it's so tough. And I hate to be the one that always says you have to scrutinize, you have to, look really hard at everything. But at the end of the day, you have to do that. You have to. Again, some of the red flags that are important to look for, if they're going to be asking you for something, if they're drawing things out from you, if they're not going on camera, if they're not willing to have that conversation, if you can't meet them in person, those are all big red flags. Also, if they're promising some type of ridiculous return, it's probably too good to be true. Crypto's very hot right now. You look at Bitcoin, it's up over 140% over the last 12 months. These are typically crypto-related, digital asset-related. So if you hear that come up in the conversation, they have some type of inside information about a great return you can get, that's when you know it's a scam. You need to run away.
And what real hope is there for people who fall victim for it, especially if we're talking about crypto? Is there any chance you ever get that money back?
Most often, no. You do not get that money back, and that's the good and the bad with crypto. There's no middleman, there's no institution that's in between that you can go after like a bank to be able to get that money back. It's like cash. Once you send it off, it's gone. So you have to understand the risks. And again, if it's an investment that's being promised to you, that with a huge return, another big red flag. You have to be very skeptical of that.
Yeah, this really speaks to the determination of those scammers. We're used to them kind of going in quick for the kill, but with this, they put in a lot of time. So that really shows that if you let your guards down, you can be a victim very easily.
Absolutely. Time is a huge part of what makes this successful. They build that trust with people. They get to know you. They laugh with you. They spend time with you. People fall in love. I mean, that's ultimately what happens with a lot of these scams. So again, they're willing to invest. These aren't little one-off people that are in a basement somewhere or in a country somewhere off, off in the distance. These are well-organized, well-run, scams that have many people involved. They have the time, the energy, the effort, and they have the investment to be able to build them out and see these all the way through. So you're up against a very tough adversary. You have to be very skeptical.
Back to that initial point of contact, I'm just interested on your philosophy. When you get one of those spam text messages, I got one yesterday. It just said, hey, long time no talk, but it was clearly, I did not know this person. Or it's spam from a political campaign. Should you ever respond in any way with a stop, unsubscribe, I don't know you? What should you do?
Do not respond to them. It just shows that there's a person on the other end of that number, and it validates that it is a live and active person and phone number. Report it as scam, delete it, don't touch it, otherwise don't interact with these people.
Shayna actually taught me that. I had been replying stop for months, and I'm like, these texts keep coming.
Getting more and more.
She said it one day. Now I know.
We learn from the experts. All right, David, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.